In chemistry, we talk a lot about the different elements and the different compounds that can be made from elements. And that's a big part of what we'll actually talk about this year. Now, there are over 60 million chemical compounds that have been identified, registered, and confirmed. From those 60 plus million million compounds, they all come from just a combination of 114 elements. This number actually fluctuates a little bit depending on how you look at it. It may be anywhere up to 119. But the vast majority of these compounds right here only use very few of these elements. Every element has a name. We would call this one helium. It has a chemical symbol, which is its shorthand. It's like the alphabet of molecules. It has an atomic number. The atomic number is the number of protons, and we'll talk more about that later, but it's the number of protons and it's used to classify, hey, this is a helium atom. And then it has an atomic mass, which is what the mass of it is. Now, a lot of people like to use the term heavy. Heavy is not a great term because it's not the same thing. Whenever you say something is heavy, that says it has weight, and weight and mass are generally not interchangeable terms. So because of that, we're going to refer to it as the atomic mass, even though you will see things that refer to it as atomic weight. Now, today's periodic table is organized by atomic number. Okay, so it starts at 1, and it goes 1, 2, and then it starts over, and it goes 3, and it goes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so the numbers go across in terms of atomic number. The periodic table displays a great deal of information. If you just look at its general shape, the way that it's organized, it shows you a lot about those particular elements just based on the way the table is organized. And we will spend a lot of time going over the periodic trends and those sorts of things that go along with the periodic table. I would highly recommend that whatever you generally use to do homework or to study with, a computer or your phone, whatever, that you bookmark the site ptable.com. ptable.com has a lot of information. It can be used to look up lots of information about different elements. It's really user friendly, and I would suggest that you do that. Now, of the fact that you have, well, about 118 elements whenever you look at it, only 42 of those are really common in chemistry. Now, depending on what aspect of chemistry you're talking about, some are more common than others, but these are really the ones that you'll use in this particular class. So, you may want to pause it at this point. Go ahead and look at the symbols. You'll have to write some of the symbols for the names and some of the names for the symbols. And they for the most part go together. Like when you see hydrogen and hydrogen is an H, those clearly go together. When you have manganese, you can see where it's an M and an N. Okay? Oxygen is clearly O, but you need to be aware of some of them that don't match up quite so well. Like for example, sodium is Na. Now the reason why it's sodium is Na is because it actually started off as in Latin. So I don't remember what the actual word is, but that's the reason why they don't match the name now with the symbol. Okay, you see the same thing for iron. Iron is Fe. Okay, so you need to be aware of those sorts of things whenever you're trying to know these. You will be expected to memorize these 42 elements of the periodic table. In fact, you are required to have flashcards whenever you come to school at the beginning of next year so you can start to quiz each other on these things. You have to know the alphabet before you can learn how to spell, and before you can learn how to spell, before you write sentences and paragraphs and so forth, if we're using an English analogy. So now, if you use a periodic table, it says what is the name of the element V? And so if you use the periodic table that was provided to you in your packet, you search and you find the element V. And when you find V, you know that it's vanadium. And so once you know that it's vanadium, that's what it is. You can read the atomic mass, you can read the atomic number, you can read all sorts of things from that once you identify where it is on the periodic table.